but in the end, Atleti through to the quarter-finals, the defending champions out. How are you feeling?
Do you know what? If anybody ever questioned why you spend 80 million on a goalkeeper, you just saw it tonight. And I'll tell you what, this is not the first time in recent years that this has cost Liverpool.
Yeah.
2 years ago in the final, Karius cost them a Champions League. They did win it last year because in the final, Alisson played a major part in that. Tonight, Liverpool lost because of a goalkeeper. Because of a goalkeeper.
It was interesting. From the moment that he made that mistake, when Llorente got his first goal, you didn't really feel, did you? You just felt that just completely took the wind out of Liverpool's sails.
Well, it takes a wind out the players, it takes a wind out the crowd, and it does the opposite for the opposition. It just fires them up. All of a sudden, they've got a hold of something. And yes, they got numbers behind the ball, but you can't say they defended particularly well, because at the end of the day, Oblak was absolutely outstanding. He probably made about 7 or 8 saves that maybe 2 of them were fantastic, but the rest were because he's in a great spot, he doesn't panic, he made good positional decisions, and that's why they got through. They didn't get through because they defended particularly well, in my opinion. They had a goalkeeper who stood on his head, a team in Liverpool who couldn't take the chances, and ultimately, because they have a goalkeeper...
That's a key point, though, isn't it?
Yes.
That's the key point. Liverpool didn't take their chances.
Well, actually...
Adrian's error wouldn't
Let me put it this way.
Adrian's error wouldn't have even mattered,
You're forgetting something. Liverpool had ahead. Liverpool had qualified with a clean sheet.
No, they've already gone to penalties. You know, this was all about Liverpool not taking any of those 34 shots that they had and converting them, surely. I'm not
going to disagree. The opportunities were not taken, but guess what? Liverpool, this hasn't just turned around and happened tonight. You know, since they had that so-called break, they haven't been sharp going forward. But the truth is, Dan, when you look at this game, it's all about the goalkeeper.
Ali?
Well, I would say that it should have never gotten to that point, to where you're depending on Adrian. Because let's face it, Atletico Madrid was not offering anything offensively. They were hanging on, and it was the definition of hanging on. And so I go back to the fact that this game should never have gone to extra time. Liverpool was there on the front foot. It was maybe a period of maybe 5 to 10 minutes in the first half where you maybe thought, well, look at Atletico Madrid knocking the ball around, actually creating chances themselves. But after that, it was all Liverpool all night. And so for me, while it is easy to point the finger at Adrian, and obvious and correct to point the finger at Adrian, I think you first point the finger at the fact that this game should never have gone to extra time. You first address the fact that Liverpool had chance after chance after chance. And if there's anything that also gives life to another team, is the fact that you keep giving opportunities away. And then you get that feeling as a Liverpool player. It's like, is this one of those nights? And you're an Atletico Madrid player sitting there saying, wait a minute. Are we really going to pull this off? We're going to hang on. We feel strong about ourselves. And then, of course, the mistake happens by Adrian. And then from there, Atletico Madrid took off. For me, it's a self-fulfilling prophecy. Coming into this match, the whole conversation was, well, are they going to be able to cope if they don't have Alisson in goal? And they don't have Alisson. They don't have Alisson. They don't have Alisson. Eventually, Adrian is put in a position where he makes a mistake. Liverpool are out. And then you say, well, it's Adrian. I think it goes deeper than that. This team should have won the game in regular time.
Liverpool were 2... Have I missed something here? Liverpool were 2-0 up in the tie in extra time.
Yeah, for 2 minutes.
Through. If they don't lose a goal, they're through. But yes, they could have finished it off earlier, but the fact is...
Should have.
They lost the game because of the goalie.
But you could also say, if Robertson scores that header, instead of hitting the crossbar, if Salah does better in front of goal, then, as Ali mentioned, we wouldn't even be in extra time. We wouldn't be having this conversation.
There were multiple chances.
They're through. Dan, they're through at 2-0. I know, we keep going back to the same thing. They're through at 2-0. Without the goalkeeper giving the first goal away, Liverpool go through. Atletico Madrid, other than the first minute of the game, never looked like scoring, never got near the goal. Absolutely nowhere near it. Complete and utter dominance, complete and utter total control, because one guy then gets involved and makes a mess of it. That's why they're out. You cannot look at it any other way. We can complain about missed chances. The fact is, they were through with a clean sheet, and the goalkeeper, for the second time in 3 years, has blown it for them.
Let's bring Frank Leboeuf into the conversation, shall we? Frank, what do you make of what Stevie's saying?
Well, the reality of the game, you can only talk about it, after the game. So you can suppose that if Robertson would have scored instead of hitting the crossbar, they would have won, and go through. The reality, they scored only one goal. That they scored a second goal during the extra time, and then Adrian made a mistake. And that's, I think, the reality of the season of Liverpool. When Alisson is not in goal, they're in danger. Adrian doesn't belong to the same league as Alisson and as the other players, so it cost them the qualification. And they should have done better. They should have scored. They had the opportunity to do so. Oblak did the job, but at the end of the day, the mistake is there, and you just have to judge that without the mistake they would have been through. Because of that mistake, they out.
Can I go back to the fact that this mistake by Adrian doesn't happen just tonight? This is coming back from the Chelsea game, because that gets in your head for a goalkeeper. And you're hearing the conversation, and you're reading the articles, and you're saying, it's all on me. Mm-hmm. Then you think Bournemouth is maybe an opportunity for him to get some confidence, as it was for the rest of the team. And he was anything but. Shaky again. The first and only shot that Atletico Madrid took in this game in the 90 minutes is a shot that he was unsure about. So you could sense that this is a player that certainly was lacking in confidence, that could feel it in the stadium, because whenever he makes a save, he's like, okay. Now he gets on it, and you're thinking, I hope this ball doesn't come my way. And when you start thinking like that, that's exactly what happens. The ball comes your way. You end up making a huge mistake, and everybody is going to point that finger straight at you.
Cards on the table. I was hoping Liverpool would win, just because they're more fun to watch. From a neutral's point of view, I much prefer to watch Liverpool than Atleti. Is there something as a ex-professional that you can admire about what Atleti do and how they go about their business?
Oh my goodness, I'm finding it hard. Listen, a team that wasted so much time in the first game, and a team that in the first game were pretty average. Liverpool were horrible, but they were pretty average, I thought, Atletico. And they just sat and they got completely outplayed, out-dominated, outshot. You've got to admire their will to hang on in there. But without Oblak, though, this game's maybe over at half-time. So you got to admire them, keep them going, but the truth is.
But there's a certain mentality, there's a certain character, there's a certain fight about this team that it's easy to talk about those things and describing Atletico Madrid because we come to expect it. Now, there's a bunch of players out there on the field that naturally do not want to defend. It's not what they do best, and yet they buy into Simeone's plan. I have to tell you, sometimes I wish that Atletico Madrid would take more chances, because I think they have good enough players to threaten the teams that they play against. However, they buy into whatever Simeone is selling. The emotion of Simeone carries his team. You see the emotion out on the field, and whether you like it or not, this is the way they play, this is the way they win, this is how effective they can be, and they've advanced past Liverpool, the defending champions. In another magical, what was supposed to be another magical evening at Anfield, is magical for Atletico Madrid, not for Liverpool. That you have to admire.
I'd love to get in the dressing room of Simeone and the coach's room, because I've coached in games where you've been completely outplayed, should have got battered, and somehow you end up with something. And every single time I would go back in, the coaches in the dressing room, you know, players great, well done, great spirit, shut the door, and then I turn to the boys and go, how did we get away with that? I wonder if Simeone's going to do that.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN+.